you read this story over the weekend that a cancer patient stole groceries worth $109.63, and she was sentenced to 10 months in jail for stealing groceries. And I want to do this against the backdrop of Trump's economy, where he says the economy is so great and everything is so wonderful and everybody's doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But here's an actual story that took place over the weekend. The Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, said the punishment was overly harsh and offered to personally repay the grocery store. As Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman is a very busy man, but he was prepared to drop everything on Friday and to drive to a YS Mark in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, to hand deliver a personal check for $109.63, the exact sum of the groceries that a woman with advanced cancer was recently convicted of stealing. Last week, a judge sentenced the woman, Ashley Minster, to at least 10 months in prison, a punishment that Mr. Fetterman called overly harsh and emblematic of a flawed and criminal justice system. In what universe do you deserve to be sent to prison for 10 months for stealing $110 worth of grocery? Close quote. He said in an interview on Friday, and he's right. What was it in the heart of the judge that said, spend 10 months, a month for each $10 worth of grocery that you stole? Something is wrong. You know, some people got no business sitting on the bench. They just are wrong. But anyway, this lieutenant governor decided he's going to pay, and he paid. I'm not sure. I guess they were able to release the woman from jail. I'm not sure that paying the money would actually release the sentence. The judge would have to recant the sentence. But she's got advanced cancer. Somebody who's suffering from advanced cancer, you pray for them. You don't send them to prison. Who sends a person with advanced cancer to prison? We got an awful judge that's been handling our case, and thank God, I think the case is dismissed out of her hands. I don't care what the judge said, that we got to pay $50 million. I'm just glad she ain't presiding over no more. This woman was insane, this judge, Arlene Bluth. She's insane. I mean, it's like she got a madness for gay life. And this woman is insane. Anyway, but you have insane people sitting on the bench. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't state that the woman had a criminal record. I don't know that and even if she did, she's got advanced cancer. I mean, she's got it, and the judge, in doing the probation report, which I'm sure the judge had to read before giving her that, 10 months in prison with advanced cancer? I mean, is that justice? If every cancer patient went out and started stealing, you'd try to help them. It's just some people got no business sitting on a bench. They have no business being there. And unfortunately, the justice system needs great reform. But listen, here's something else. Watch this. I got another story of another thief. Let me see if I can find that thief. Here's a story of a pastor, a Chicago pastor, steals $1 million from church funds to buy a new Bentley. That's it. If this don't beat all. The business of faith can be a very lucrative business, the article writes. While some question its relevancy in today's society, Black megachurches are still raking in high earnings from their congregations. The massive inflow of cash can lead some pastors to do questionable things to make personal profits. Let me just say this. This is an article out of Black Enterprise magazine. This first paragraph is a lie. It's a flat out lie against this particular church and pastor. When you would start to read this, you would think that somehow or another this is a successful church that's drawing in a lot of money, and the pastor that we're going to hear it who stole the $1 million stole it from the tithes and offerings. It's not true, but that's what this first paragraph would lead you to state. And obviously the writer of this article is a church hater. But watch this. This was the case of one Chicago, I'm continuing to read now. This was the case of one Chicago-based pastor is being accused of stealing nearly $1 million from the church's food program designed for needy children to line his own pockets and wild splurges. One being a brand new luxury car. According to federal prosecutors on the case of the Reverend Clarence Smith Jr., who led the New Life Impact Church for many years, was indicted on fraud charges for taking more than $900,000 from the federally funded child and adult care food program through the Illinois State Board of Education. The money that he stole didn't come from the tithes and offerings, and that's what I want to. You have to watch reporters. When they got something against, and I suppose the reporter probably didn't have anything against this pastor in particular, but if they got something against the church, they tried to make as if you think they sold from the members' tithes and offerings. This was money that the government gave to the church for their breakfast program. Now, I need to let you know that we have a breakfast program here at the Outlaw Word Missionary Church, and we don't take nobody's money except the tithe and the offering. We don't take government money. Well, Elder LaFleur told me that there were some inspectors here the other day. We had, there were a group of people who were trying to shut down our school because they know that we've got a school and it's successful, and they know we've got a court foreclosure case going on. So what they tried to do, these sodomites, is that they tried to get some dirt on our school because they know it's going to be very difficult for the courts to shut down a school. They may not like our church, but we know they're doing. So they tried to make the school look like it was an awful school. So they spent some spies. They actually did. The sodomites actually sent spies into our church and our school and tried to discredit it. And then the investigators came and said, it's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful place. And it is. And we've served over 1 million meals in our breakfast program for the children, and we take no government funding, and that's the reason why we don't. And while they were here, the inspectors that had been sent here to shut down our school, rather than shutting it down, they offered Elder LaFleur and the teachers government funding for the school, and Elder turned it down. But I think it's important that we recognize the difference between the two thieves. Now, this Reverend Clarence Smith stole $900 from the government program, not from the offering basket, from the government program, and bought himself a new Bentley. Well, I know it was a used Bentley. It looks like it, yeah. It says the Chicago Tribune has reported that one of those gifts was a $142,000 2015 Bentley luxury sedan. Anyway, we have two vehicles outside of our church that we paid for out of our own tithes and offerings, that if you round up the numbers of what those two vehicles cost, and these are school vehicles, by the way, they're not personal vehicles. These are school vehicles. If you round up the cost of the two of them, it would be $140,000 or just about. This vehicle, the science lab, vehicle, I think that vehicle was $63,000, something thereabouts. That one, and I think the other one, this is the mobile classroom, the same vehicle, except this one has a gas engine, the other has a diesel engine. This one was $59,000. So, between the two, you're talking $120,000 between these two vehicles. And we just used the tithe and the offering and just bought it, that's all. No government funding. And so this guy spends $140,000 on a car for himself, right? Yeah, it must be a pretty dumb place for that to go on. But I thought it would be important to contrast those two thefts that are going on in modern day America. One is a woman steals groceries, and the other is a man steals food money, steals money from children. He steals the money for food for children and buys himself a Bentley. And the other woman steals food for herself, who has advanced cancer. You figure it out of what's going on. We need Jesus. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.